Okay, let's have a look and see what it's going to take to get rid of this big brick right here. Now this thing is a charcoal canister. It's part of the evaporative emissions control system they got on this bike. Basically, it just captures gas fumes out of the tank and cycles them through this charcoal canister and then shoots them into the carb. Okay, if your bike doesn't have it, great. If you do, you want to get rid of this thing. Especially if you upgrade to a larger aftermarket vented cap gas tank like this one. It offers no performance benefits, so you know, we got to get rid of it on that basis, but it can fail as well. So on paper it seems harmless, but not so much. It can cause you some grief. Plus it looks weird. It's all hoses and clutter and you just don't need it. So again, it's got to go. Now there's only a few hoses to look at. There's this one coming out of the back and there's just two coming out of the front of this thing. So not a big deal. The first part of this program is we'll just make it easy to get at these hoses by taking off this strap right here. There's a strap and some tie wraps, and that's the first thing we'll tackle to give us access to this. So let's just do that. Okay, now I really like these removable tie wraps. They're super easy. You just pull that little tab and then you can just easily peel that apart. They come off no problem, just like that. Another good thing about taking out this little bar thing is it gives us good access to the air box now, which would have been a hassle before. If you had to change your air filter, you'd have to mess with this anyway. Killing two birds with one stone on this one. Not that you want to be killing any birds, but if you had to. Okay, so now we have good access to these two lines coming out of there. Okay, so the next thing I want to tackle is this easy hose. Let's do the easy hose first. Now this one here, there's just a single line coming out of the back of the tank, this little canister here, and it doesn't really go anywhere. You can see it just stubs right there. It just loops and goes under the frame. It's kind of a fresh air in, so let's peel that out. Okay, now that was pretty easy. Next we want to look at this purge line coming out of this charcoal canister right here, and you can see it follows, it's the bottom line here, so it follows along here through where that channel was in and just docks right onto the bottom of the carb there. There's a connection point there with a little clamp. We can't get at it from this side. We'll have to go on the other side. I'll show you on the other side here. Now you can see here, we got a good view of how that clamps on. We'll just get some pliers in there and remove that. I got the perfect tweezers for that job. So we just go in here and clamp them up. Okay, just like that. That's the second line off, and so that was the purge line that went to the bottom of the carb. So next up, we've got this vent line. So this one here ends up into a vent up here, but there's a couple things in between. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here's a really interesting cutaway view of this tank, and you can see right at the top that fuel vapor separator. Now let's go in the tank and take a look for that thing. I got the borescope, and we can see it right there, that silvery thing. Kind of a puck looking thing there, right there. You won't see a whole lot of these. They're not that common. Now you go back to the cutaway, you can see that shows that there's a pipe that goes through the tank, and I'm trying to follow it with the borescope. It's a little tough to maneuver, but I got it. There it is. You can see how it exits the bottom of the tank right there. So now we go back out of the tank, and you can see where the hose connects to that point right there. And that's an easy pull off. Just back off the clamp and wiggle that pipe off. Then we can go back in the tank, or the cutaway, and then you can see it goes to the rollover valve. So back outside, there it is. Okay, so here's that hose that connects to the vent in the tank. And it just goes to this little guy here, which is an odd little bit of business. It's labeled as a rollover valve. So I guess when they're kind of taking into account, if this bike rolls over and floods that vent in there, this stops the fuel from getting back into this line, which goes back to the charcoal box. Now, I don't know how effective that is, but hopefully it would work. But I do hear guys talk about that thing getting clogged up with fuel sometimes. So it's not a perfect system. And when you think about it, does other bikes have that? Well, when you think my old dirt bike or many other bikes have in the top of the gas cap, there'd be like a hose popping out and would go down into the triple tree. And that's how the tank vents, because the tanks have to vent. You don't want them under pressure. And on a regular motorcycle, like an old vintage bike, or even some like common bikes nowadays without this system, the tank cap actually has a vent in it. So there's a small hole in the cap that vents through the top and the side, somehow through the cap. It's very small, but it allows the thing to breathe. So that's something to think about. This actual cap is sealed, and that's why they have to do this, because otherwise this thing would be under pressure all the time. Not good. So next up, we got to get this little tip over valve off. That'll be free, and then we can take this whole canister off. So let's do that. It's just one bolt and one clamp on that hose, so pretty easy. Pop that clamp back, wiggle the hose off. Like that. Now we can just loosen off this bolt here. There's only one holding this tip over valve on. That's pretty much nothing to it. There you go. So there's that little guy gone. Now all we got left is these two lines here that are clear going across there. And we should be able to unbuckle it back at the canister and pull that whole mess off and be rid of that brick. So let's do that next. Now it's a quick spin off with the 12mm socket, but notice now you can relocate your toolbox to this vacant bracket. That's where it used to live. Bonus. Feed that guy through. Oh, there you go, baby. Look at that thing. What a chunk of concrete that is. Man, oh man, what does that weigh? I don't know. You put it together with this little bypass valve thing. You're looking at probably 45 kilograms, maybe? What is that? 75 pounds American? I don't know what the exchange rate is. I might be a little off on that, but either way, it's a weight savings. Maybe not that much, but wait a minute, what does this boat anchor really weigh? 0.819 kilograms, or 1 pound, 12.9 ounces. Okay, now we know. It's a good savings, and it unclutters this whole thing. It's a win. Now, I don't know what you're gonna do with it. If you like fishing, you could tie a rope to it, use it as an anchor. Be good for that. You ain't going anywhere with this thing dragging on the bottom. But we're not out of the woods yet. We still got to block off that purge point on this carburetor right here. So that's next. Let's do that. To block off this little purge point on the carburetor, this thing right here, that little spigot, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you have a little rubber cap or something that fits on there perfectly, go with that. You should be all right. Now, if you ended up doing the pair valve and EVAP delete kit from Bush Pig Performance, that's a great way to go too. In that kit, it came with a couple of plugs, one for the vacuum line T on the carb and one that is actually meant to block this off. So that's a good thing too. It also came with the plate to block off that gaping hole in the front of the engine once you remove that injection system. But another way you can do it is with just a hunk of hose, a little bolt you can jam in the hose, and you can salvage the clamps from the EVAP system. So that's really all you need. Keep it simple, right? Just like that. Get that stainless steel pan head screw. It's a nice tight fit. Get that guy on there. Use my giant tweezers. Get in there and jam that on that spigot. Perfect. Job done. Now, the next thing is to get a vent line on that gas tank on the other side. So we've just got a spigot sticking down right now. So here's the vent line. I've got it attached to the tank right at that spigot point right there. You can take a look at that. And it runs in behind the brake reservoir down here. And right here, I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna install a gas filter. Now, I don't know if it makes sense or not. It just makes me feel better. I'm gonna put it right here. And then I'm gonna snake the rest of this tubing down in behind the engine case and behind where the swing arm sits. So it's just gonna vent right through down to the bottom, and that'll be that. All right, just a quick cut on that vent line hose. Jam in the fuel filter, jam in the bottom hunk of pipe, a couple tie wraps, and then it's just a case of trying to wind that thing in there. It's a bit of a tight fit. You can do it. Just wind it in, snake it around all those bits, and eventually end up with it looking like that. See how it's just tucked in behind there? Sneak down, you might get a sneaky peek right there. You can see the filter, and then it just exits right down on the bottom there behind the swing arm, and that's where it stops right there. Okay, now just a quick word about this gas tank vent line right here. It's not a bad idea to cut this thing at an angle. It's just gonna give it less of a chance or to clog up. A lot of motocross and enduro guys do this. If they have any vents or lines that are coming out of the bottom of the bike, they go through a lot of water and mud and stuff, and if these lines get plugged up, it's not a good thing. And if you cut them on the diagonal like that, it just makes it harder for stuff to jam in there, and it doesn't stay that easy. So it's just one little thing you can do. But you might ask, why did I even bother venting that line down here? I could have done it under the seat, which I did think of that, and I was gonna do that, but with the thought of this possibly having fuel in that vent line, I didn't like the idea of it possibly draining or having fuel in there and being up under the seat and maybe drizzled down here. That didn't sound good to me. It didn't sound like a good option. So that's why I went with snaking it down here. And I realized it's not for everyone. If you're a heavy enduro guy and you go through a lot of mud and water and all kinds of stuff, having a vent line there exposed may not be the brightest idea. That's not my situation, and that's partly why I put a gas filter in there. It's sort of a filtration idea. It's not gonna stop any fluids, but it'll stop, you know, rocks and dust and crap. So for me, this is the way I went, and this is why I went that way. And if you do, like I say, cut this thing at a bit of an angle, it'll just help reduce the risk of that thing getting clogged. All right, there you go. Okay, so that's the EVAP can delete job done. It goes hand in hand with the pair valve when you're working on these bikes. And if you're interested in doing that job, I did a video on that as well. If not, maybe check out some of the other videos on the channel. You might be glad you did. All right, I got stuff to do. You probably do too. See ya.